Hi, my name's Karen Johnson. For those of you who don't know me, I have just written a book about the Diamond approach to inner realization called The Jeweled Path. So it felt very important to me to give an inside first-person account of how the work developed, because this work is going to outlive its founders. It's going to outlive many of the students that are alive in it today, because it's a living teaching that goes beyond all of the people, the events, and the places that I talk about in the book. However, the way that it became what it is had a lot to do with the context that it arose in. And I wanted to make that clear, and I wanted to give a real feeling for it. And I was at the very beginning of this journey with Hamid, and actually before this journey began. We were friends, we were very close from the start. The minute I met him, there was a click, a connection. He walked into a house where my roommate had known him. He walked in, he looked down at me. I was on the floor doing some art projects, and I looked up, and I was kind of innocent and shy, and I would kind of hide in my hair. And he had a very broad, beautiful, innocent smile, and he smiled at me, and I went, "Oh my God." And I just smiled back, and that was it. I said hi, he said hi, that was it. And years later, we had the opportunity to meet up again through that same friend, and we had an instant friendship, unlike any other I had ever had. And we still are close today. But in between that moment, that first smile, and our friendship today, we have traveled universes inwardly. And so I have had the opportunity to write this book and chronicle the events of this journey from our comparative innocence and stepping into a conversation that started about 45 years ago. And that conversation was a casual one, over tea, and exploring our experiences over time. And the book shows how not only we matured and the friends around us who were also engaged in this conversation, and the first students who became teachers in this work, and more students that came, and everyone who became a part of this beautiful, blooming wisdom that was coming into us. We realized actually 5 or 6 years into the conversation that the wisdom that was coming through was not just our own personal experience, and we didn't even consider it wisdom yet. We thought they were beautiful, wonderful experiences. We began to realize other people were having similar experiences prior to even teaching what they were about. By just doing the practices with them, experiences began to bloom. And this book really shows and gives a picture and a context for how those experiences began to reveal the fact that a teaching was coming through. So you can read it because you're interested in who was there, what happened, what were their names, and all of that juicy stuff. And it is juicy, and it's interesting, and it's fun, and it's amazing. But the real juice is the dynamic force that was flowing into life, into the world, through the people, the places, the events that were occurring. And so the wisdom began to really be the wisdom of a teaching. And the book is really based on those first 15 years that take us through the realization within the individual consciousness, meaning the realization of how essence and presence came into our experience, but then that broadened out into boundlessness and showed us that these qualities of experience, of kindness and clarity and love and sturdiness and strength and happiness and joy and liberation really were grounded in a boundless nature. And that whole phenomena and teaching came through in about 10 years, actually, the first 6 years really, but 10 years kind of wrapped that up, and we went into other experiences after about 12 to 13 years. And then I give a little bit of a nod to things that we learned of going beyond the dual and non-dual experiences. So it gives you a taste and a flavor of how the teaching began, and I really want to bring you into it with me. And the book, I feel, is a portal on its own of how it happened. I think you'll feel like it takes you into its pages and gives you a sense of how the work that we now know as the Diamond Approach, as it's taught in the Ridhwan School, came about. So I'll be giving 4 book talks. I'll be giving one in Berkeley, Boulder, London, and Amsterdam. And in the book talks, I'm going to reveal some stories, and some of them did not make the cut into the book, so they're going to be a little bit new and fresh. And I'll also do a book signing at those times. You'll also have a chance to answer, to have some questions answered that got stimulated by reading the book or by listening to me talk about things. So I look forward to seeing you there.